The emerging U.S. Iran understanding is raising concerns in Israel, where officials fear it could reshape the region's strategic balance. Some analysts believe Israeli leaders may now be more focused on Hezbollah's growing influence in Lebanon than on Iran's nuclear program itself. Reports suggest Israel fears that any easing of pressure on Tehran could strengthen Iran's position and its allies across the region. Despite U.S. calls for restraint, Israel has signaled that it intends to maintain its security presence in southern Lebanon and protect its interests independently. Israeli officials are increasingly concerned that President Trump's understanding with Iran could expand Tehran's influence across Lebanon and the wider region. According to reports, Israeli leaders fear the agreement may restrict Israel's freedom to act militarily against Hezbollah when it sees a security threat. Much of the concern reportedly centers on Lebanon-related provisions included in the broader U.S. Iran diplomatic framework. The announcement of a new deconfliction mechanism following the Switzerland talks has also raised alarm bells among Israeli officials and security planners. The interim U.S.-Iran agreement called for an end to military hostilities across multiple fronts, including the conflict in Lebanon. However, Israeli officials signaled that they are not prepared to halt operations solely because of commitments made under the agreement. In a June 22 statement, Israel made clear that it intends to continue military operations in southern Lebanon despite the broader diplomatic framework. Israel PM's statement read, and I quote, "Joint statement by the Prime Minister, Minister of Defense and the Chief of the General Staff. A short while ago, a discussion took place between the Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, the Chief of the General Staff, and the Commander of the Northern Command. The IDF will continue to act with determination in order to neutralize threats against our soldiers and our citizens, demolish terrorist infrastructure, and maintain the security zone in southern Lebanon." The Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, and the Chief of the General Staff made it clear that the security of Israeli citizens and IDF forces will remain their guiding principle without compromise, unquote. The growing dispute over Lebanon is rapidly emerging as one of the first major tests of President Trump's new agreement with Iran. For Israel, the central question is whether the deal will weaken Hezbollah's capabilities or ultimately help Iran rebuild and expand its influence across the region. Under the U.S.-Iran memorandum, a joint mechanism was proposed to help oversee and maintain the cessation of hostilities in Lebanon. Israeli officials fear the arrangement could effectively give Tehran a recognized voice in future discussions surrounding Lebanon's security landscape. They argue that Iran's decades-long support for Hezbollah makes any formal role in Lebanon's security affairs deeply controversial and potentially dangerous. One Israeli official told Axios that concerns over Lebanon are now causing more anxiety in Jerusalem than the nuclear file itself. Prime Minister Netanyahu, Defense Minister Israel Katz, and Military Chief Eyal Zami held high-level security consultations to assess the situation in Lebanon. The three leaders reaffirmed that Israel will continue taking action against what it describes as ongoing threats from Hezbollah. They stressed that military operations would continue with the goal of dismantling militant infrastructure across southern Lebanon. Israeli leaders also vowed to maintain the security zone established during the conflict to safeguard border communities. The statement emphasized that protecting Israeli civilians and IDF personnel remains a non-negotiable national priority. Meanwhile, Iran's top negotiator Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf declared that Tehran would not abandon Lebanon despite growing regional pressure.
No matter how successful a military victory may be, its effects, its gains, can only be seen in the present, the future, and when history judges it. If that victory is to be legally and politically recorded and enduring, then without diplomacy, the efforts on the battlefield will not bear fruit. There are times in the military field where conditions arise such that diplomacy must do its job. That is to say, when the mission that the military intend to carry out cannot be achieved for whatever reason, diplomacy must be able to accomplish that task. Negotiation is a method of fight. It is a continuation of the struggle. Therefore, those who differentiate or try to create a dichotomy, claiming to be supporters of this side or that side, are completely off track. You saw that the fire has now been extinguished. Most of the people have left. God willing, with a decision made there, we are confident that, God willing, we will proceed with this matter with authority, and that the territorial integrity of Lebanon, the national sovereignty of Lebanon over its entire territory, God willing, we will reach a final conclusion in these discussions, and until a final conclusion is reached, we will not abandon it.
Israeli media reports suggest that the Israel Defense Forces have begun reducing their military presence in southern Lebanon after months of heightened tensions and cross-border conflict. According to reports, U.S. President Donald Trump personally requested that Israel carry out a partial withdrawal from southern Lebanon as part of broader efforts to prevent further regional escalation. Reports also claim that the Israeli army lifted several restrictions in frontline areas from 6 a.m., indicating a possible shift in the security situation along the Lebanon border. The Trump administration is reportedly pushing for a reduction in the depth of Israel's so-called yellow line, or buffer zone, established inside Lebanese territory. Israeli broadcasters have reported that Washington wants Israel to scale back its military footprint in southern Lebanon in an attempt to create conditions for de-escalation. The reported troop reduction suggests that Israel's deployment strategy in southern Lebanon may be entering a new phase under growing diplomatic pressure from the United States. The partial withdrawal comes as Washington intensifies its efforts to contain regional tensions and prevent the Israel-Lebanon conflict from undermining wider peace initiatives.
There is no such thing as a ceasefire that grants Israel freedom of action. A ceasefire means a complete halt to hostilities, by air, land, and sea. It means no demolitions, no consolidation of its presence in the occupied areas, and no further advances, in preparation for the withdrawal, which should take place according to a rapid, time-bound schedule. There can be no gains for Israel under such an arrangement. There is only one principle. Anyone seeking an agreement with Israel must base it on mutual security and the deployment of the Lebanese army to the south of the Litani River. Anything short of that is unacceptable. Let the Israelis and everyone else understand this. Remaining on Lebanese territory is impossible. There will be no Israeli security zones on Lebanese soil. Any ceasefire under the title of a comprehensive halt to aggression is something we are already committed to, if it happens, but we will not accept any violation of it. Any violation will be confronted. Any violation will be fought. Any violation will be dealt with in whatever way we deem appropriate. I call on the Lebanese authorities to benefit from the Memorandum of Understanding process. Look at the honorable people in Iran. Go and fix out your situation with Iran, you political authority. Fix your relationship with Iran. Even the United States is fixing its situation with Iran. All Arab countries are adjusting their relations with Iran. What are you? What kind of people are you? You are still standing aside, behind the rest. Why? Sort it out. Catch up at the right time. Because this is a source of strength for you. No one will take anything away from your path.
Iran draws red line in Switzerland, making Lebanon the key test for any broader diplomatic breakthrough. Iran sets conditions as it warns talks cannot move forward while fighting continues across Lebanon. Iranian negotiator declares Lebanon the central issue overshadowing every other topic at the talks.
Naturally, if this does not materialize with respect to Lebanon, one of the key fronts on which the end of the war must be declared, then subsequent issues will certainly not be negotiated.